Thank you, Madam Speaker. As many of you know, I don't rush to the microphone often, and I don't talk long when I do, but I figured it's been 4 years, and I'm going to change that today. So brought this with me, but since I think it's going to be a long day for the sake of time, I'm going to remove the section about jokes about Steve Johnson and just go with what's left. So I will, and I checked already to make sure she's not Facebook Living me. She's not, is she, Jason? Okay. I'm going to jump right into the thank yous to get started. You know, this has been an incredible time, and there's a lot of people to thank. I'm sure there's going to be people that I forget, but I want to run through these. First, I want to start by thanking my staff, Jeff and Noah. You two have been the point of contact for the office and have been great advocates for the people of the 83rd District. I know how challenging it can be, especially recently, to be the one answering the phones, the emails, and the letters, but you both did a great job, and I thank you for caring so much about the people of the district. Phil, who would have thought that after 2 years of sparring on I was a chair of transportation subcommittee and you were at MDOT trying to claim every idea I ever had wasn't possible, that we would not only work together, that we'd actually work together quite well. My one regret was that we never got to have a hearing on the Transportation Innovation Bill package because I was going to make sure I was nowhere to be found on that day, and Phil was going to go testify for the exact same bill that he testified against. And the best part was, this time he could tell the truth about the bill. But thank you so much for your work and dedication to this caucus and the budget. It's been a great term. And the state is surely in a better place due to your work. Maybe not your work at MDOT, but your work in my office. Randy, you're the one that made it start to finish with me. We've been through a lot of ups and downs personally for both of us. And I thank you for always standing by my side. Your impact goes beyond Lansing. I regularly have people in the district ask how you're doing. My wife, kids, brother, parents all ask about you regularly. I ask you to never be afraid to challenge me on a decision, to make sure I stay grounded, and to even make sure I didn't forget my duties as a husband and dad when things get busy. And you've fulfilled all of those roles. You've been far more than a legislative director. You've become a true friend. I'll speed it up for the next few, but not because they're any less talented. These are some incredibly talented people. Josiah, Hassan, Becky, Brian, Chris, Jimmy, some of the most talented people I've ever worked with, and I appreciate the time you put in and the sacrifices you make to keep this place moving. Marianne and Kevin and your team at House Fiscal. There aren't two people I respect more in this town for your depth of knowledge and understanding of the issues in this state. You've been incredible to work with. The Senate Fiscal team, the Senate Approps team, Chair Stamas' staff, you guys have been amazing as well, but not quite as good as the House team. We have the best team in Lansing. Director Kolb and your team at SBO, I'm not always stubborn and unreasonable, or maybe I am, but I know you guys think I am. But thank you for always coming back to the table to solve the issues that are important to our state. It's been a pleasure working with you. And to all the staff that has to work with me, thank you for putting up with somebody who has an extremely short attention span and would much rather solve an issue by drawing a graph or chart or maybe just doodle on my whiteboard for a while I try to focus, but you all put up with me quite well. Chair Stamas, we've definitely had some fun times and some challenging times. I'm sorry for the past couple days, I think, or maybe we'll just wait and see how the rest of the day goes down before I apologize. But it took us a while to understand each other, but you've become a great partner in the legislature and a great friend. And to some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, I wish I'd taken time to get to know a lot more of you. But I always appreciate your passion and the willingness to find issues we can work together on. Youssef, who would have thought that you and I could be partners on anything? But whenever there's a corporate handout lurking, I know where to go. And to my two brothers in Christ, Sheldon Neely and Ronnie Peterson, it was an absolute pleasure getting to know you. I know Rep. Neely isn't here. I'm not sure if he remembers getting off on the wrong foot. It was pretty bad, actually. But I'm so happy we both moved past it and became good friends. And Ronnie, you can put a smile on anyone's face, no matter the circumstances. and I want to make sure we get that fishing trip in this spring. John Holdley, who would have thought we could work together? We have some pretty dramatic differences in our positions, but you've been truthful, reasonable, knowledgeable. I didn't always like that part. Sometimes I wish you didn't know some of the details, but I truly enjoyed working together with you. My former seatmate, Jim Runstead. I thought the plan was to place freshmen with mentors. Jim, it was a challenge, but I think I did a pretty good job mentoring you. I helped you find your phone, vote on time, figure out what bill we were on. Sometimes talked you into voting the opposite of how I was voting on a bill to see how you'd react when the board opened and you realized what I was doing. One time waited for it to close before I really let them know. Joe Graves, Mike Weber, Clint Kesto, I miss our crew in the back of the chamber. We could all get together sometime, but I'm pretty sure Joe was on his way to Florida before the gavel even hit last term, and he probably only comes back to Michigan to register his car so he can still get his unlimited auto insurance. Tom Barrett, Lana Tice, Dan Lowers, Jeff Noble, I miss you all in the House, and it was great working with you. Speaker Leonard, I didn't know you well when we started, but you were an honorable speaker and have become a friend for life. And I remember one thing, I asked you, put me on any committee other than appropriations, and he put me on appropriations. I guess Tom was right just one time. Joe Bellino, thank you for your friendship and your humor. Even though I think my dad likes you more than me, and you like my dad more than me, I can't completely cut you out of this speech. You're a good friend. And my dad does think you are his favorite legislator. Jason Shepard, you said it yesterday. I think we might be kind of the odd couple in the caucus. I like voting any time of the day. I think the RTA bill was, well, I'm just going to not comment on that. But you and Melissa have not only become my friends, but you're friends to my entire family. There's so many of you, and I know I don't have time to talk about you all. I want to talk about two more before I get to our current speaker and speaker-elect, John Riley and Steve Johnson. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you both. We hit it off early on, stayed friends, despite me beating both of you out for the title of most conservative in our first year. You still continued to be my friend. John, my favorite memory of you was last term. I don't even know if you remember this. We were walking over here from the Hob one day. I don't know what was going on that day, but I wasn't in a good mood. And you stepped out in front of me on the sidewalk, turned around, faced me, and said, "Shane, you know worrying's a sin?" And I said, "John, I do, but I'm going to do it anyway." But it says everything about you, John. You're an amazing man of faith. I have the utmost respect for you. And Steve, you're a stubborn pain in the butt, which might be why I like you. I joke about your votes, and I'm sometimes not sure if your green button works, but I truly do wish there were more like you here. You're a true statesman. You read every word of every bill, every substitute, and every amendment. I just wish you would stop doing that on the budget. Some people in this town probably don't agree, but the state of Michigan's in a better place because of you, Steve. Speaker Chatfield, I'll never be able to thank you enough for putting your trust in me. You gave me the best job in this legislative body, even better than the Speaker's job. And I thank you for your leadership and friendship. And we have one piece of unsettled business. I'm just going to put my arm out like this. You know exactly what it is. It's got to happen today or Monday. Brant's shaking his head yes. He will verify this. Last and definitely not least, Speaker-elect Wentworth. I remember asking you to meet me in my office about 3 years ago and telling you needed to run for Speaker Pro Tem and we could chart our path to leadership together. You gave me an adamant no that day. But I stuck with it and could not be more sure that I made the right decision in continuing to push you in that direction. I love how you go about your business, and I'm confident you'll be an incredible speaker. It would have been an honor to serve with you as your approach chair. I abandoned you for a run for Congress. But I'm just as excited to work in your office. I do have one question, though. Does John Holdley get a job offer because you hired the rest of the Congressional Losers Caucus? Sorry, Lynn and Jim. But I'm going to cut this last portion a bit short, but I do want to talk briefly about my journey here to this place and some of the people that have been instrumental in my life along the way. For a kid from a low-income, staunch Democrat home, I don't know if everybody knows that about me, who never believed I would even have the chance to know my rep, let alone be the representative, to be standing here today is something I'm truly proud of. To my mother, who instilled in us the importance of Jesus Christ in our lives, who, despite being incredibly quiet, will defend my work here relentlessly with anyone who dares challenge me. Thank you. To my father, who didn't tell me what hard work could do, he showed me by sacrificing himself time and time again to better our family's position and to make sure everything was possible for me if I worked half as hard as him. Thank you. Because without you, I wouldn't be standing here with a master's degree and a successful career. And to my brother for not only challenging me, but my entire family to open our eyes, not simply believe we were Democrats because we were low income, we were Hispanic, and we were a union family. Thank you for questioning us. Thank you for teaching us that it's Republican principles and policies that allowed us to continue to grow as individuals and a family. To my Uncle Jack, who's no longer with us, but I'm sure my brother and father would agree in crediting him with building both our personal relationships with God and solidifying our belief that free market capitalism, limited government, fiscal responsibility, and our foundation in Judeo-Christian values are what makes this country great. And to my wife, Renee, who's been a rock in my life, I appreciate your steadiness, your faith, your willingness to put up with me. We've been through a ton together. We've lost a child. We have 2 amazing girls. You're more of a rock in my political life than you know. Renee is incredibly quiet on politics. But if you ever want to see someone get fired up on an issue, come challenge her on the value of life in the womb. She's a mother who will tell you her firsthand story about the value of each and every life formed in the image of God. My girls, Kelsey and Kara, they can light up my day no matter how difficult it's been. I look forward to spending more time with you. I want to leave you all with a few things I've learned and maybe a challenge or two for those of you staying here. Number 1, this job's not about passing bills. Don't fall into that narrative. We have plenty of laws. Let's focus on getting government out of so many aspects of our lives. I promise you will not be judged by how many PAs you have. There will be difficult votes that come up. You'll be told reps don't lose their seat over 1 vote. They lose them because they don't work hard in their district. I don't disagree with that. But if you won't lose your seat because of 1 vote, please know you won't win your seat because of the project you got in the budget. We must take steps toward treating these dollars as exactly what they are, the people's, not ours. A chair can work hard to not include these projects, but it takes an entire legislature to do the right thing and start returning these dollars to who they belong to by never taking them in the first place. Number 3, come to Lansing, do your work, enjoy yourself while you're here, and go home if at all possible. The narrative in this town is not real. Stay in touch with the people in your district and do not start to believe what you hear in this bubble. 2 more specific items to finish my list. These are specific items I've dealt with this term. If state employees' work is possible to do effectively from home, we need to start unloading buildings and property immediately. If we're claiming that services continued at a high level through furloughs, then we have too many state employees and need to start trimming back. We should treat our employees the same way state government is treating workers in our district. They do more with less, and pay increases should never happen during this time, and it is absolutely despicable that we have an administration that advocates for such while they close businesses in our districts. No one should jump the unemployment line while the system is broken for our constituents. Lastly, I came into this chamber wanting to work on occupational licensing. I made a few attempts and often ran into resistance. If there is ever a time where it's more obvious that we should not ask our government for their consent to work or run a business, the time is now. This consent has resulted not in improved professional services, but instead in government control of our livelihoods. I will close my speech with not more thank yous for the people we work with here in Lansing. We all do it, and I think it's necessary. But something I think we should all think about more. Thanking some of the great people in our district that made this state go and have helped us do this job successfully. Mark Heberling, better known as Mark the Barber. First time I ever met him, he called and he said, I know the other two candidates in your race. I just want you to come in here and make sure you're not an idiot. So I went in there. Mark, you're an honorable man and become a great friend that has helped me navigate rough political waters with simple conversations while getting my hair cut. Patrick Patterson, you taught me what the recovery community really looks like. You've helped me find new and better ways to address recovery than to rely on the government to fix issues that the government is probably more responsible for creating. Bob Ike and Eric Tubbs. I sat down with these two to talk them into running for state rep, and here I am. But you're both business owners in the district who have done your part to keep this district going. You helped encourage me to take this step to run for office. Chris Campbell, college student who I asked him if he knew how to run a campaign. He said no, and I said, neither do I, let's get started. You represent what's great about our state in the 83rd District, a hardworking, driven young man with big goals. Walt Badgerow, you're what we need in local government, a true public servant who understands who you work for. Tim Keller, the person responsible for taking my interest in politics to a whole new level by getting me really engaged. I admire you and your wife, both dedicated teachers impacting the lives of youth in our district. Clint, Rick, Jeff, Dennis, Neil, Eric, countless more farmers that work day and night to feed the state and nation. Drew Mills, Tom Seppo, John Grenfell, Don Derby, Bill Canaan, Terry Coons, Arnie Kuntz, faith leaders who engage in their communities to make the Blue Water area a better place. Dean and Kathy Burden, Tom and Carol Seaver, Helen Hermes, Rich and Diana Doman, Len and Nancy Corsetti, Dave and Dorothy Carr, Michaela, and so many more political activists working to spread conservative values across the thumb in the entire state of Michigan. I know I'm missing a ton of you, but please know this is about you, the people of the 83rd District, and it's been an honor to represent you. I'll leave you with my favorite Bible verse, which isn't a verse I'd normally end a speech with, but this is 2020. And I think this verse, it's actually 3 verses, is very fitting for 2020. It's James 1, verses 2 through 4. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. Friends, this has been an amazing opportunity and challenge. I hope I can say I'm leaving this place having learned from the challenges and trials and being more mature and complete because of it. Thank you.